Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a guide on Graves that's mostly aimed at newer players or returning players. It's pretty hard to get games as Graves right now, as she was released a week ago, so a lot of the information in here might be relevant in like a week or two, but I feel like I found a pretty good way of playing Graves. And I don't see a lot of informative and kind of clear content around Graves up on YouTube right now. So I thought I'd try to fill the void if you're looking for that type of content. So how should you be playing Graves, in my opinion? I think you should be playing her around her ultimate, her Burr of the Cree, as well as the Jar of the Dead, the Pickles, they're commonly known as. When her ult is down, you want to be farming, you want to be kind of passive, you want to be doing the chores like clearing a lane, fixing a lane, or picking up some camps on your side of the map. You want to be really careful unless you're super ahead. When your ult is up, you want to look for fights. You want to look for objectives to kind of anchor. So a good example of this are walkers. You can anchor earn fights. You can even go for like their double center sacrifices. And if you put a gravestone in there and just steal it from them, and whenever they show up, you pop down your abilities, you're going to have a lot of success. So I feel like that's the way you want to play her. When her ult is down, you play passive. When it's up, you want to play pretty aggressive. And that way you're going to generate a lot of space for your team. So the build that I've made up is focused a lot on reducing the downtime of your ult, since the more you have ult, the more you're able to fight and the bigger impact you're going to be able to have. So in lane, I've opted to go for the 4.8k green spike first, and this is to compensate for her really low health scaling. If you played Graves, you will notice pretty quickly that she blows up in lane. She has very low base health, and she has very bad health scaling by default. So I feel like you need to prop that up a bit. So extra regen is now upped. I think it's pretty great now. And you also get more regen through monster runs and enchanter's emblem. So I don't think you need healing rights, but if you're really low, you can pick this instead. Say if your level 1 trade went horribly. I don't think you should do too many level 1 trades unless they're super beneficial, but we'll get into that. Okay, so I think you should go extra regen as a first item. If you're not hurt from level 1, go monster rounds first. You have pretty bad wave clear, which means that monster rounds is going to be a really good item for you. This is going to allow you to pressure the wave even before you have ultimate, and it's also going to help you farm camps later on. Then you want to go enchanter's emblem, I think, and this gives you everything you need. It gives you spirit power, it gives you cooldown reduction, and it gives you spirit resist, and also more regen. And at this point, you're able to start taking some trades because you have so much regen. So you don't want to be at full health, because when you're at full health, you're not regenning anything. So that's souls down the drain. So you really want to try and take trades, or at least trade your health for faster clears or anything. Use your health when you have regen. Then you want to go either reactive barrier, spirit shielding, or weapon shielding. I put reactive barrier here because I think it's the most commonly useful one. This scales with your spirit. To see, there's a spirit scaling symbol there. So the more spirit you have, the stronger the barrier is going to get, which means that it's going to be good throughout most of the game. This gives you an extra layer of survivability, and a little tip about this item, or the shield items in general: if they get procced, don't run away. Use the extra shield HP that you have in order to take more of the enemy's HP. Oftentimes I see people, the reactive barrier gets procced and they run away. Rather, what you want to be doing is you want to use the shield to stay in the fight a little bit longer, and you want to do damage to the enemies, and that way reactive barrier can get you ahead pretty early if you're using it properly. Then I like to go rebuttal, and this is for a multitude of reasons. First off, if you magically encounter people who like to heavy melee in lane, or if you're up against Billy or Abrams, you can pretty reliably get the proc off of this. And one proc is all you need, because that is almost always going to guarantee a kill in the early game. And then late game, you want to be using this to defend your ultimate. So the lower parry cooldown is going to catch a lot of people off. This also gives you melee resistant bonus health, which, more defense is good, especially early. If you don't like parries, I strongly encourage you to try and work on it. But if you really don't want to, just go extra health instead. It gives you a solid foundation of health. Once the 4.8k spike has been reached, you want to transition into kind of early mid-core. Here you want to focus the build around compressed, to reduce the cooldown of your ultimate, and also allow it to stay up for as long as possible. So you want to build around that, and the way you do that is by buying compressed cooldown and imbuing it on Borrowed Decree. Same with duration, imbue it on Borrowed Decree, and this is going to increase its duration. At this point, you're going to want some stamina, so you're going to pick up extra stamina, and this also nicely builds into Arcane Surge, which also increases the duration of your Borrowed Decree. So every time you're going to pop down your ult, make sure you dash jump first, and then it's going to get some extra duration out of that, and also some extra spirit power. And then to finish the first part of the core up, you want to get Echo Shard on your 1. And this is simply to give you more burst. You can do this. And all of these guys, they're going to do a lot of damage. Once you have this, you're going to want to build into Heroic Aura. And Heroic Aura doubles or increases the fire rate and movement speed, as well as bullet resist of nearby allies. Now, minions get double effect from this. So let's put no cooldown on. What you want to do is you want to pop down your ult. You want to pop down your skulls, Echo Shard, and then just Heroic Aura. And it is going to start doing a lot of damage. At this point, you're going to be really powerful. Then you want to go into more duration, and this is going to increase the duration of both your skulls as well as grasping hands, let's not forget. And then more cooldown, Spirit Lifesteal. It's for a bit of sustain. Whenever your minions do damage, you get heal. You can grab Fortitude instead if you want extra health or early and you want kind of that passive regen. This is really good. You never have to base, and you also become faster. So if you're not that comfortable with dashing and also you have 3 stamina, this is viable as well. Just swap it out for Spirit Lifesteal. Just swap these 2 out, the rebuttal and extra health, and then the Spirit Lifesteal and Fortitude. And then you want to get Transcendent cooldown, so you reduce the cooldown of your active abilities. So what you want to do is, whenever a fight is about to break out, or you're going to push an objective, or you're about to secure an objective, like the mid-boss, for example, you want to plonk down your thing, you want to throw down a wall somewhere, you want to throw down your skulls, and your Heroic Aura. And you're going to do a crazy amount of damage. Outside of this combo, you're astonishingly weak. But with that up, you're going to be really strong. So you really need to play around it. And this, I consider to be the core of the build. But a lot of games, especially since the patch, have been dragging on. So if the game drags on, there are more things to get. Now, a popular thing to get, which I think is amazing, is Refresher. You can get this, and what you can do if we remove the cooldown is you're able to throw down all of your stuff, and then your Refresher, and we get a second Tombstone, which obviously increases your damage even further. This is the biggest damage increase you're gonna get. you can get this. The downside is that it has a very long cooldown. So you're able to get this off like maybe once or twice per game. Still could be good. I toyed around with having that instead of Echo Shard for a while, but I like the frequency of Echo Shard more. But you can experiment with it yourself and see kind of what you like. And yeah, then Stamina Mastery if you really feel like you need more stamina. And now you can start removing things like extra regen, you can start removing monster rounds, you can start removing rebuttal, really. For these items. So if you want more stamina, this is really good. This actually makes her able to move, which is really good. You can get Boundless, which is just a flat increase. It's just going to make your combo better. It's just a stat stick. And Curse Relic, especially against the new hero Silver, which just runs at you, and there's really nothing Graves can do if you don't have your abilities up. Right? You just sit there and get eaten. This gives you options, which is good. So Curse Relic, especially since you've already gone into duration and Transcendent cooldown, this is really good because it gains the increased duration and the reduced cooldown. So this, if you really need to shut someone down and somebody's giving you or a teammate problems, maybe you have a hyper carry on the enemy team, you want to get this and you want to just throw it on them every fight. If you have highly telegraphed abilities that's giving you trouble, like the Bebop hook or Lash Ultimate, Infernus ult, all kinds of stuff, just buy this. And you can buy this sooner. You don't have to wait until you're done with your core. Like, just slot these in whenever you feel like you need them. Warpstone extra mobility, question mark. I haven't used Warpstone on her. I don't really see a reason to, but there are some cool things you can do with Warpstone, especially kind of in the vertical space. So you can get up to ledges and nuke people really effectively with this. They have a lot of debuffs. You want to get the spell magic. Removes the debuffs, gives you spirit resist. So if they have like Infernus and Haze and stuff like that, this can be really good. They have a lot of bullet heroes. You get Metal Skin, it just makes you immune to bullets. And yet again, you have Transcendent cooldown and superior duration. So this is going to have an insanely high uptime. So if they have 2 or more bullet heroes, I'd say, just get this, and it's going to increase your survivability massively. Spellbreaker is for if you're getting bursted out a lot by spirit damage, and it's going to help. It's essentially a better reactive barrier, so you can replace reactive barrier with this. Plated armor is also for bullet damage, especially with heroes that have on-hit effects. So Mirage, for example, or Infernus again, or Haze. This is really good against. Infuser, just extra heal. Pop this before you pop your combo and you're going to be able to heal a lot. Can turn fights for you. Spirit Burn is great anti-heal. And then Fortitude we talked about before. So let's talk about the ability point order. This is the order I've opted to go for. So you're going to put your first point into Skulls, then Grasping Hands, Essence Theft, and then Bar Decree. So those are your first points. And then after that, you're going to want to save up your points until you unlock your ultimate. And then you're going to put 2 points in your ultimate and max it out as soon as possible. This is going to give you everything you want. Like the ghouls are going to be faster, they're going to have longer duration, the cooldown is going to be lower, and above all else, I think the best part about this is that the tombstone instantly spawns 3 ghouls when you cast it, which allows this to act more like a burst spell that you can kind of throw down whenever. Then you want to put your points into Yar of the Dead. And then 2 points in Grasping Hands, 2 points in Essence Theft, and, you know, by this point the game is over, but, you know, I think Grasping Hands is better than Essence Theft. If you have any questions about the build or anything, just leave it in the comments below. And let's take a look at the replay. So here, as I mentioned before, I'm playing pretty passively. Where you kind of don't want to take unnecessary engagements early on. You're pretty weak early, before you get your ultimate, so you want to kind of be playing pretty carefully. I started with monster runs simply for the fact that I'm not that hurt, so I don't need the regen yet. I feel like I can utilize that in order to kind of push the wave. But I realized that I'm starting to feed Bebop stacks. And you see, here's Graves' squishy nature. She blows up really fast. It's not the end of the world to let the wave crash into your tower early on. Your tower is pretty tanky. What you want to do when the tower is pushing into you like this, you just want to put down your grasping hands and have all the minions run into it. That way your wave is going to meet theirs and you're going to be able to clear it safely. Another thing you should be doing in early game is running boxes a lot, and you want to be grabbing the camps. If you're in a lane that allows you to grab camps. So you preferably want to be playing on your left side, your yellow lane. Because the green lane doesn't have easy access to a camp from 2 minutes onwards. So here I go look for some boxes, and Haze has been more efficient than me, so the boxes are gone, and I realize I need to catch the wave. You see me throwing down the grasping hands, which is going to relieve some pressure. And then just focusing on clearing the wave. Once the wave is cleared, go for some boxes. And here my Haze goes for a dive, so learn from my mistake. Communicate that you're going to be playing passively to your teammate. And I didn't realize how low Bebop was. And for some reason he stayed in lane, so he just ended up feeding Haze. Which is fine by me. You know, here we're aggressive simply because they've just given it to us. Bebop should have backed off. And Rem shouldn't have been doing boxes there. He should have been under his tower and he should have been playing safe. Or he should have been doing boxes in like his hidey hole. Ace ends up getting a really nice sleep dagger and we end up being able to be aggressive even though we shouldn't at this point in the game. And now we have ultimate available, so we're gonna start playing aggressively. So just instantly, as soon as it's unlocked, look for opportunities to kind of throw it down and then just push the Guardian. And people are going to run into you. And Rem ends up sneaking around getting the Grave. Playing more aggressively now, but still just waiting for the ultimate to come back. Not trying to overcommit before the ultimate is back. Like, I'm just taking what they're giving me. So you see here, playing really, really cautiously. I see that Bar Decree is up in 6 seconds. So, just waiting to push that out. And here we go. And this is kind of the cycle. It has begun. I mess up my parries a lot this game. Rem was really good about attacking it from above, which is really cool. A lot of people are going to be doing that. But yeah, and eventually they're just going to succumb to the pressure of this. Can push down the wall to zone further, or the grasping hands. Oh yeah, and laning phase is done. So now what you want to do is you want to look on the map and try and figure out what objectives you can get with your next ultimate. So always plan for your next ultimate. So here I'm thinking, well, you know, the sinners are coming up, but we don't have that much control over the green lane or the right lane, which means that, and they also have Rem, which means that their doubles are going to be hard to secure. So I end up taking one of our sinners just in between and getting some camps while waiting for the ult cooldown. So here you see the green lane. They're pretty neck and neck. They're slightly behind. All you do is just throw down an ult and you push. Just put pressure on. Every time you throw down a tombstone behind your team pushing, you're exerting a lot of pressure. And it's as simple as that. Just getting cooldown. This is the first piece of the puzzle. Get the tombstone cooldown down. And now I'm prepping for popping down ult on the yellow lane. So it's got a 20-second cooldown. I'm already heading over there.
Borrowed decrees on cooldown.
And still help them put some pressure on.
The spirit urn is waiting to be cleansed.
I'm heading into this room. This room is great for setting up graves. And here we go. Ult is up. Throw down the ult. No idea why I have it melee there, but I did. And it's just a walkover. Like, there's nothing they can do. Another benefit of this is that it encourages your teammates to just push. And sometimes that's all they need. So we have a bit of downtime again. We have really good map control at this point. So we're going to run the urn. Now, if you're a new player, don't be discouraged from running the urn. Like, if you feel really uncomfortable doing it, try to do it more. You'd be surprised how often just running the urn can win you games. Because people don't like running it. They have what Defri once referred to it as urn PTSD, where they've had so many bad experiences running the urn that they don't want to do it anymore. So I strongly encourage you to, if you're suffering from urn PTSD, please speak up. Don't worry, you're not alone. And the only way to get better at it is to just do it. The more you run the urn, the better you're gonna be at knowing when you can run it and when you cannot run it. So ult is up again, because we have so much cooldown, so we're gonna try pressuring this walker a little bit. Now this is mostly to pull more players onto me, right? So I see there's 2 players here, so I'm gonna back off instantly. I'm alone. But this gives my team a huge amount of space to do whatever they want. So rather than being in our jungle, I think they should be on their side of the jungle. But they're not, so they're playing a little bit too passively right now. You can tell them in voice, but be careful, because we're really sensitive as Deadlock players to people telling us what to do, apparently. So, you know, just ask, do you want to invade the enemy jungle or something like that? And keep creating openings for your team. Now the ult is down, so I'm not committing at all. Haze took a bad trade there, so I'm just backing off, trying to play safe, waiting for the cooldown. Ram is a little bit overextended. And Bebop is coming with his hook. Reactive barrier value. And here you see Graves' horrible wave clear in action. The ult is back, and this isn't a defensive ult. We really want to hold this point, and there are 3 people here trying to barrel down our walker. So we really want to defend it, so we need to spend the ult there. So that is going to reduce the pressure on the enemy team, but it is going to relieve our team. So remember, just try to plan your ult in advance. Like, where do I want the next ult to be? And you always want to use it to contest, like, an objective on the map. Now, unfortunately, we don't have Tombstone for this. But since we managed to get a couple of kills off of the defense on blue, we're able to push this in. It's all about momentum. All about tempo and keeping the pressure up. So here you see me planning to use my next ult on the left lane. And I ping it to my teammate because I'm too lazy to push the talk button. And throw it down and start pushing and see what happens. And both Drifter and Ivy joins in, so we're able to contest this. Viscous shows up to try and defend it, but it is too little too late. I think. I actually don't remember. But it's looking dire. We're able to put a lot of pressure on them by doing this, obviously. And everybody's gonna have to come here in order to defend. Calvin and Calico should really be either killing Wraith or clearing lanes or running Urn. So if your teammates are pressuring and giving you space, constantly think about how you can use that space. If you're the type of player who likes to make space, you know, just keep making as much space as possible and hope your teammates follow suit. I'm gonna end up losing the Green Walker because neither Calvin nor Calico was there to defend it. They were farming jungle and mid instead. It's okay, it's easy to get tilted by those things, and I do a lot of the time. But it's important to kind of remain calm and just think about it objectively, like, okay, you know, we lost that. There was nothing I could have done to prevent that in the position that I was in. So it is what it is. Just keep pushing. But it did throw me off a little bit because now there's no clear play to make. We lost map control by doing that, and now both Calvin and Calico are there defending green, which is being pressured by absolutely nobody. So I decide to push up yellow, since it's the only lane that's not pushing towards the enemy. And I plan to use my ult on yellow yet again. And here you see Graves' pathetic wave clear. She has really bad wave clear outside of her ult. Unless you go the gun build. The gun build has pretty decent wave clear. And, you know, don't think about it. We just commit. And I realize I forgot to put Heroic Aura here, which is really bad. That's a big DPS loss. Or maybe I did, maybe the replay is bugged. I actually don't know. That's an easy walker. And that's the thing with Graves. Like, if you just commit at the right time, the objectives just fall over. So the green one is the only one left. And usually when the last walker is, when there's only one walker up, they're going to be defending it super hard. So unless you're ready to commit to a 6v6 or like a 4v4, don't try it. Do other objectives and get further ahead instead. Like farm the enemy jungle, run the urn, all that kind of stuff. Here Viscous, and I want to see if I can steal this from him, and I can. Just want to make my presence known, looking for the right opportunity to push this.
No point in saving any more souls.
Let's push green.
And I think I'm gonna commit it here. And I remember to pop Heroic Aura this time. And Haze joins me, and all of a sudden we're in a really good position here with the Walker. Now, Silver, unbeknownst to me, is approaching from behind. Which is a problem. She breaks the tombstone. But we're already really deep, so we're committing to this. And we get the Walker. Here you see like how Graves operates when she doesn't have cooldowns. It is... there's not a lot you can do. So now we're properly in the late game, and really what we should be doing is look for a mid-boss. The best way to approach this is just run around and try and think of where the enemy team wants to be. Now, Ivy just flew away with me here for some reason. I'm still confused as to what she was doing. I think she was looking for a gank or something. But what you want to do is you want to think of where the enemy team could be. And you want to run urns, and you want to take enemy farm and do all of that, and try and get a couple of picks. Once you have a couple of picks, you want to just call out mid boss, and then you want to clear it as soon as possible. Graves has really good potential to fight in mid with her tombstone. Now, especially if you get refresher, I'd say force mid. Just yell at your team to just go mid, and then throw down all of the tombstones.
The Reaper's handmaiden.
Here I tried to, I thought they were going to approach me at the shop, so I wanted to bait them, and it didn't turn out that way.
Pull back.
Really wanted to get a couple of kills, and then wanted to go mid-boss, but it just doesn't always work out. So it was a case of where I popped down the ult, even though I had no objective to contest. Here I'm on the wrong side. I should really be at the urn hand-in. Should be taking the teleporter rather than running across the map. If you didn't know, in both of the secret shops, there are teleporters to the opposite side of the map.
Defend Greenwich.
If you need to go cross-map, it's always better to route that way. Second best option is to use vents. I've opted for the worst possible way of moving across map. Here you see, if you just throw down the skulls in a vacuum in front of enemies' faces, they just break them. It doesn't do a lot. You really need your full suite of abilities to get a lot of value. But they're trying to chase me down, and we just end up throwing everything down. And it gets a lot of value. We immobilize, we do a lot of damage, and actually manage to escape. And now, mid should be free. So Graves is really good for that, even if you don't have a lot of mechanical skill. Just throw down your abilities, and if you're smart about when you use them, you are going to get a lot of value. Nobody showing up, nobody contested yellow, but it is okay because mid-boss is one of the most valuable objectives on the map. And this is going to allow us to push. Now, a lot of the time, when you get the mid-boss buff, you oftentimes feel like, okay, we gotta push now. But
I need to face danger.
I recommend taking a step back when you get mid-boss. And go through like a checklist of things. Is every lane pushed up? So have you fixed all of the lanes? If no, go fix all the lanes first. Tell your team to fix all the lanes. Has the urn been run? If it hasn't, make sure you run the urn. Like, just clear the map of, like, of chores, right? When you push with your mid-boss buff, you really want all of your lanes to already be pushed up. You want the urn to be ran, and then you want to push. So exhaust the map of resources. Even then, like, if the enemy has camps in their jungle, you might as well run them as well. So we end up catching Bebop, and we put our ult in a position where it's also allowing us to put pressure on this. Interesting fact about the ult is that it doesn't have collision for allies. So allies can move through the tombstone, but enemies can't. So if you put it in a choke point like I did there, it can be really detrimental when the enemy is trying to rotate or trying to kill your tombstone. And here we just end up overwhelming them because now we are really, really ahead. And yeah, the pressure from the tombstone is doing a lot here. And it's just allowing us to overwhelm them.
I might be pushing my luck staying out here. Sentries up.
And yeah. I didn't mean to jump on the jump pad there, but I see people using the jump pads too little on the new shrines. But there are jump pads on each side, so that allows for quicker rotations. Also, you can dodge the shockwave if you stand on the ledge, rather than having to jump all the way down if you want to keep the pressure going. So yeah, just throwing down the ult whenever it's off cooldown, just to keep the pressure up. We end up having to back here, because all of them are respawned. We don't have a lot of ults. We have Kelvin Dome, we have Drifter ult, but we end up just going back. You see I have 6.8k souls to spend, so it's better to go back and spend. We've expended all of the mid-boss buffs. They end up overextending in turn, so I end up being able to go back, buy, and then come back to a fight again. I don't have an ult here, so I'm pretty weak. But when they're really preoccupied, it's hard to have the presence to be able to also clear out your pickles or your skulls. So it can be really good to be used in the middle of like a chaotic team fight. So this, you know, ult is up again, so we're able to put this up and get the pressure. And this is all because they overextended. They had us on the ropes, but they could defend, but they couldn't push up. So really what we should have done is back off and try to steal the enemy jungle, and then go back and buy, and go push again. Instead we do this, and this works out fine. Now we collectively decide to pull back, because everybody's about to come back. So everybody backs off and buys. And this is an important principle that I see a lot of lower ranked players do, where they end up overextending when they're ahead. Because remember, you might be ahead in souls, but if you haven't bought items, you're effectively not as powerful as you should be. So just going back to buy before re-pushing again can sometimes be the only thing that separates a win and a loss, or a successful push from a failed one. Let's see, reactive barrier is up to 600 now. So it keeps getting value. End up going for boundless here. I just feel like I need more damage. In hindsight, I wish I would have gone refresher, because that would have been great just to kind of finish out the game with. It allows you to get that just little bit of extra pressure to finish out an objective and guarantee it. And Rem ends up going through that little tunnel. And at this point, the game is pretty much over. I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit. We end up getting a couple of picks, and we're taking the mid boss again, and it's the safest thing to do. And now we're up. Ever lane is getting pushed. Urn hasn't been ran. And this is actually pretty bad, because they're committing 6v2 there, but Ivy's able to get away because she has her ultimate. And yeah. This is where a lot of time is just spent really doing nothing. Just stealing enemy farm, waiting for the team to kind of assemble. No use in committing all of the resources before everything's ready. And here we go. And I'm looking for just a copy to throw down my ultimate. At this point, we're pretty much won. Don't get overzealous when you're ahead. Just take it easy. Make sure everything's cleared. Wait for your teammates. And then, yeah. Don't get caught in that blast either. It's messed me up many times. It leaves you cursed. Which is horrible for obvious reasons. And yeah. That's how I think you should play Graves. So to summarize. You want to play Graves around her ultimate. And when your ultimate is down, you want to play passively. And during that time, you want to think about where your next ult is going to be. Your ultimate can be used to contest any objective. And mostly you can push walkers with them, but you can also contest things like Urn. During the passive time, you want to farm camps, you want to fix waves, but you don't want to overextend generally. When, you know, your combo is just throw down the ultimate, throw down the skulls, throw down all your abilities, slam your face on the keyboard, and you get value. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching. Please leave a like, comment if there's anything you think I can improve, or if there's anything you'd like to discuss regarding Graves. I'd be happy to hear some different takes on Graves, and have a great rest of your day.